buddy. Welcome to slapinthefaith.com. If you're new to the site, my name's Shane, and what I'm offering here are some ways to think about God, to connect with the big guy in ways that will help you wake up your spiritual life. So kind of taking a different tack to thinking about spiritual things and thinking about life with God. So one thing I wanted to share with you today is about hugging. All right, hugging. Love me some hugs, don't you? Are you a hugger? I love hugs, giving hugs. It's a blast. Well, one day I was on the telephone with a friend of mine, an older gentleman who lives in South Florida. I live in Memphis. And my friend Charles in South Florida, when he was getting ready to hang up the phone, he said, okay, now before you go, I want to give you something. So I said, okay. And he said, I want to give you a hug. And I'm like, okay. So I'm listening to the phone. And on the other end of the line, I hear this gentleman go, there, you got it? And I'm like, yes, sir, I got it. And it just blessed me so much. He was just being kind, a little silly, fine, but he was just really loving up on me over the telephone. And it just really blessed me, so much so that I started adopting that as well. And so I've given many a phone hug. Sometimes if a friend's in the hospital and I can't get by, I'll be talking to them and I'll say, okay, now before I go, I want to give you something. And they're like, okay. And I'll say, it's a hug. Here it comes. And I'll give them a hug. There, did you get it? And I'm telling you, without fail, there's always some laughter or some appreciation. It just lightens the mood. It blesses them. It encourages them. And I want to encourage you to give someone a phone hug today, okay? Not only that, I gave that talk, what I just told you, a little more extended version to a group of people one day, and someone came up to me after the talk and asked me if I had ever hugged God. Well, I thought about that, and I guess I said, no, I guess I never have hugged God. I'll have to think about that. So the next morning, I go on these walks in the morning, about 5 o'clock, 4 miles, take my Rhodesian Ridgeback Samson with me. And Sam and I were out walking, and I remembered what the person had asked me, had I ever hugged God? And so I thought, well, no. So I just stopped in the middle of the street, 5 in the morning, dark, and I was with my dog, and I said, well, God, you know, I just want to give you a hug. So I was standing there, and I just went like this. I went, this is for you, God. Like that. I gotta tell you something. When I stopped, I don't know if you've ever sensed God's presence before. You know, sometimes little chill bumps or just a sense of God's presence that He's with you. Well, for me, that sense of God's presence was so heavy that I wound up getting down on my knees in the middle of the street, on my face, on the asphalt. Just the sense of God was so heavy on me. I was just blessed so deeply. And I was just enjoying the moment when I realized, uh-oh, it's 5 in the morning in the middle of the street. Someone else is walking. They're going to think I'm having a heart attack. I better get up. So I jumped up, and I went on my way. But I just wanted to share that with you today about hugging God, hugging others, hugging God. Be a blessing to somebody else, and it'll come back to you tenfold. So that's one creative way to wake up your spiritual life. That's it for today, little buddy. See you next time.